as you can tell by the title, today we're going to be talking about how to create your own luck this year and attract more opportunities to you. And this is a topic that I feel like is a big theme for me in 2026 because I don't like to chase things. I like for opportunities to find me. And just in my life and in my business over the past few years, I feel like I'm kind of the queen of attracting aligned opportunities. But I don't like to pitch myself for things. I kind of just like to wait for things to come to me, and that is not the best method for, building a career or really doing anything. Like, we should not be waiting around for things to come to us. But I think at the same time, I also do a lot of work to put myself in a position to attract opportunities so that I don't have to chase them. We're going to talk a little bit about that today and just how to increase your luck, increase your magnetism, because that's all luck really is. It's math and it's magnetism. It's kind of like a little formula. Math plus magnetism equals luck. And when I was in Lisbon back in November, I was kind of introduced to this idea that luck is just a numbers game by a gentleman that I was talking to at a bar, chatting about life and business and whatnot. And he said to me, luck is just a numbers game. The more shots you take, the more yeses you get. And it just kind of like flipped a switch for me in my brain about how I've been approaching my own luck in my life and just attracting opportunities to me. Like previously, like I said, I kind of waited around a lot for things to just come to me versus, shooting more shots and just putting myself out there a little bit more. And funny enough, a few days after he and I had the conversation, Emma Grede posted on her story that luck is just a numbers game. Most people play once and quit. Winners play until they win. Increase your attempts, increase your luck. And so it's just become kind of a big theme for me this year that I want to shoot more shots, take more chances, stop waiting for things to happen to me and start making shit happen. And not in a chasing way, but in a, like I said, just math and magnetism. Because I feel like, yes, I could get the things that I want and build the life and the career that I want by waiting and just like trying to be that like attractor and just like sit and be twiddling my thumbs until the right opportunities come along. But I want what I want and I want it now. So that's why we're going to be talking about this today, because I feel like a lot of you guys can probably relate to that. Not wanting to just sit on your hands and wait for things to come to you. And I consider myself to be a pretty lucky person just by nature because of that magnetism piece. But we're going to add a little bit of math to the mix this year. So with that being said, let's dive in to the 10 ways to increase your luck this year so you can attract more opportunities. Number one is to build your personal brand. Y'all know I talk all the time about building your personal brand. It's kind of my job to help people build their personal brands. So I'm not going to dive into like what a personal brand is and how to do it because I have podcast episodes already about that. I'll put them in the show notes so that you can go back and listen to those. But basically, your personal brand is what allows you to attract the opportunities instead of having to chase them. Because when you are known for something, when you are top of mind for people, you attract the right opportunities instead of having to chase them because they know you for a specific skill or area of expertise, a talent, something that allows them to recommend you to other people. When an opportunity arises, maybe you're the first person that they think of. So that's what having a personal brand really does for you. Whether you like it or not, you have a personal brand. Like your friends, your family, your colleagues, they have a mental image of you already. You have a reputation with those people in your life, but intentionally curating a personal brand is what takes you to that next level and allows you to position yourself for the right opportunities and increase your luck. So, what I want you to do this year in 2026 is decide what you want to be known for and start building your personal brand. Go back and listen to the previous episodes about exactly how to do that. I also have content about it. I have a whole another separate podcast with like, I think it's 10 episodes right now. It's the Slay on Socials podcast. So you can go there and it's just social media branding and content related episodes. So yeah, number one, build your personal brand. Number two is kind of in the same area, but get visible. You cannot hide and expect to be seen. And there's one quote that's been circulating on social media recently that really resonated with me. I made a post about it. It's every time you hide, someone with half your talent takes your opportunity. And that's just so true because opportunities don't go to the most qualified or the most deserving person in the room. They go to the most visible. They go to the people who are raising their hand, putting themselves out there, putting themselves in the rooms where the right opportunities are, which is another point we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But yeah, you cannot hide and attract the opportunities that you want. Lucky girls, they are the ones who are not afraid to be seen. They are actively finding ways to be seen more, whether it's in their community, on social media, in their job, in whatever way that they can, they are trying to be seen and not in like a look at me kind of way, but in a like I'm here. I am the right fit for this thing. So that's what you got to do if you want to increase your luck and attract those opportunities. So, especially because we have so much access to the digital world, I wanna see you on social media. I wanna see you posting content. You can start a podcast, you can start a YouTube channel, you can start a blog or a Substack or an email list if you don't like, video or photo content. There's so many ways to create visibility for yourself. I think I have an episode about that too. So I will link that in the show notes as well because we're not going to dive into all of these 10 things super deeply because this would be an hour-long episode. I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet. But yeah, get visible. So this year, I want you to pick one platform, whether that's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Pick the platform that's going to be the best fit for you and your goals. And I want you to be consistent with getting visible on that platform as much as you can with quality content. Put yourself out there. Be a magnet for the things that you want. The next thing, which is kind of related to being visible and just like raising your hand for those opportunities that you say that you want, is to scream your dream. My professor from college, her name is Sheldon. I also had her on the podcast. Her motto is "Scream your dream," and I love that so much. And basically, that just means promote yourself. I think a lot of times, especially as women, we hold ourselves back from talking about ourselves or our accomplishments or our qualifications because we don't want it to seem like we're bragging, but people won't know what you're capable of, what you're qualified for, what you even want if you don't tell them. So we need to be more vocal about ourselves and just talking about our desires and what it is that we want. Charlton always says, let people know who you are, what you want, and why you deserve it. And I think if you could just focus on doing those three things in 2026, you will become lucky as fuck and attract so many more opportunities. So make sure that you are talking about yourself, talking about your goals, your qualifications, and speak up for yourself. Unapologetically plug yourself and plug your offers. Tell people who you are, what you want, and why you deserve it. Number 4 is to shoot your shot. This is something that I am really working on personally this year. Like I said at the beginning, I tend to wait until the shots find me. But that's not a way to become successful, at least not quickly. So I'm going to be shooting my shot more. And I want us all to shoot our shots more too. Because you know that saying, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take? One of my friends, Carly, who was on the recent guest episode, she talked all about this in that episode. Please go listen to it. It was so good. But she is now the digital director of Grazia USA magazine, and she lives in Milan, and she's just living her best life. If you thought of like Carrie Bradshaw meets Emily in Paris, it's Carly. Like she's really living that dream life. And it happened because she shot her shot. She didn't wait around for that position to open up. She actively created that luck for herself, created that opportunity for herself. So I'm going to let her tell that story. You can go listen to the episode. But to make the long story short, if you want something, ask for it. Go get it. Pitch yourself for the opportunities that you want. Ask for exceptions to things that normally people wouldn't give you an exception for. Like, I don't know, I'm in grad school right now and they have this whack ass attendance policy. And I don't know, maybe if I'm late one day and I get marked absent for class, instead of just accepting that I have an absence, on my record, maybe I'll go ask the professor, "Hey, I'm so sorry I was late, but I have yet to miss a class and I really don't want this to affect my GPA or whatever. Would you be open to allowing me to do an extra assignment and get this absence marked as present?" Like, I don't know, just things like that. Asking for things that like someone else wouldn't even ordinarily think of. Also, shooting your shot can be chatting with the person in line with you when you're at the cafe or the coffee shop, chatting with the person sitting next to you at the bar, like that conversation that I had with the guy in Lisbon, it was so good, and I was gonna sit there and read, but it's funny, he actually that's how we got to talking, 'cause I had my Kindle and he was like, "Are you really about to read right now?" And I was like, yeah," and then from there, it kinda snowballed into this conversation. But now I have a new connection, and he's really successful in real estate. Who knows, maybe in 5 years when I'm ready to buy my first rental property, I'll go to him and he'll be able to help me, or when he's ready to get started with social media, maybe he'll come to me, who knows? But you never know what opportunities are out there unless you shoot your shot. And like I said a few minutes ago, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. If you don't ask, the answer will always be no. So in 2026, we are going to be shooting our shots more. Number 5 is to move fast and fail faster. I feel like failure is such a dirty word for so many people, and it's like this big scary thing that people try to avoid, but the most successful people, they are moving fast. They make decisions quickly, they take action quickly, and if they fail at something, they just get right back up and keep it pushing. They don't let failure hold them back. They use failure as feedback to improve the next time they take an action or try a new thing. I think everything in life is just an experiment. And if we stopped looking at failure as this like big, ugly thing that people are going to judge us for and just use it as feedback, use it as an experiment to help us get better the next time that we go after something, we would all be a lot further along. We would all be a lot more successful and we'd all be a lot happier because failure is not the worst thing in the world. The worst thing in the world is never trying. The worst thing in the world is getting to the end of your life and looking back and realizing that you didn't do any of the things that you said that you wanted to do because you were scared to fail. Like, none of us are getting out of this alive, so you may as well try, and if you do fail, get back up and try again. You know? Use everything as an experiment in 2026 and fail faster. Get back up and try again. Number 6 is to go where the opportunities are. This is something that I personally love to do. I love putting myself in environments where I know that there are going to be people who have the opportunities, have the things that I want. I love joining masterminds. I go to a lot of conferences. I go to a lot of networking events because I know the power of getting in the room. And a lot of people don't do this. Like, this is like the extra step that you can take when you're trying to build your career, start a business, meet people. Like, don't just wait around and rely on social media. Go make the effort to go into an in-person event, go to a conference, even go back to school. Like, one of the biggest reasons that I decided to come back to grad school was because I knew that on the other side of this degree are opportunities. I'm not really here for the piece of paper because I know that I am more than qualified in marketing to build the business that I want without that piece of paper, without this additional knowledge that I'm getting, even though I love the knowledge. Like, I love to learn, I love to improve my skills and expertise and whatnot. But I'm really here for the connections. I'm here for the network and for the opportunities. There's so many opportunities that my school has for us. For example, at IE, they have this thing called the Venture Lab where they help students develop their startup ideas, and they have it twice, two different cohorts twice a year. And at the end of the cohort, they have what's called Venture Day. And it's like this big fair where all of the students who were in Venture Lab pitch their ideas to investors. Like, insane. Insane. You can get real funding, like real money from this. And even if you don't win the Venture Lab, at the end of it, you still have a like fully fledged startup. And so I'm actually on 2 teams helping friends develop their startup ideas, which is, by the way, my dream job. Um, so that's an opportunity that I honestly didn't even know that I would want until I got here and it was available. So go where the opportunities are. Proximity is power. Like, getting in the rooms with the people who have what you want, who are a few steps ahead of you, who are even like next to you, your peers. Because I think one important thing that people miss when it comes to networking and meeting people and getting in these rooms, it's like, yes, get in the room with the people who are quote unquote better than you, who can help you advance, but also get in the room with people who are beside you. Because I've talked about this before, it's hard to climb a mountain by yourself. Like when you're trying to achieve a big goal and you're like, doing it alone, it's so much harder than if you have a team of people going with you. Like most people don't climb mountains by themselves because yes, getting to the top is nice, but it's harder to get there when you're by yourself. So, networking across and networking up. Networking across is, like I said, networking with the people who are at your level, your peers, and then networking up is, with the people who are a few steps ahead. So, make sure in 2026 you are getting into the rooms that you want to be in, where the opportunities are. You can join communities, like join online communities or in person communities in your city. I was in the Baltimore Women's Circle when I was at home in Maryland. I went to a few of their events, and it was a really nice way to network with people in my local Baltimore community. You can go to actual events like networking events, conferences, that kind of thing. You can join a club or a team. There's so much fun to be had in like joining a tennis club or a soccer team or whatever sport you like. Not just for the, sport of it, but for the connections. I know a lot of people, they'll play golf or they ski or the rich people things. Uh, get into some of those this year. I know I'm going to be getting into some of those because yes, it's fun, but then also you make really great connections. You can even create your own club or host your own event. You don't necessarily have to go out and seek it. Maybe you can be the person that other people are seeking. You can be the person who brings people together and facilitates those new connections and conversations. That's something that I would love to do this year as well. So make sure that you are going where the opportunities are. And when you do go where the opportunities are, do not just be a fly on the wall. Introduce yourself, scream your fucking dream, okay? Because people won't know that you're there unless you say something, unless you stand out in some way. And you don't have to like be a showboat about it or anything, but just like be a person. I don't know. I feel like maybe because this comes naturally to me, it's easier said than done. But when you walk into a room, make your presence known. Introduce yourself to people, smile, say hi, strike up a conversation. Don't just be a fly on the wall. So, number 8 is to collaborate with others, and that's kind of in the same vein of going where the opportunities are. And just like I was saying with this like mountain analogy, which I love, is, you can't climb a mountain on your own. It's much easier to go in a team, and collaboration is such a shortcut that I think is so underrated, especially when it comes to creating your own luck and attracting opportunities because collaborating with other people who are, again, at your level or a few steps ahead accelerates your timeline. Like it helps you get to where you want to be so much faster when you have a connection or a colleague or a friend somewhere who is able to like speak your name in rooms that aren't in, and also like collaborating on projects with someone who is in a similar niche or like complementary, if you guys have complementary businesses or skills or connections even. It's so nice to cross pollinate and like help expand your reach into new rooms or circles that you weren't in before. And you're able to like borrow other people's audiences, borrow the trust that they've already built with, their own connections, and build momentum a little bit more quickly. And again, this goes back to that idea of networking across and networking up. So you want to do both, not one or the other, because it's not necessarily better to have only people in your circle who are better than you. You also want to have the people in your circle who are on the same journey. And when it comes to doing this and like collaborating, please make sure that you're, reciprocating. I think reciprocity is a huge value of mine, and I hate when I see people taking advantage of someone. Make sure that the relationships that you're building are actually relationships and they're not just transactional, and also that they're mutually beneficial. You want to make sure that you are giving just as much as you are taking from that collaboration or from that relationship, because it can be a long-term relationship where you and your business partner, business bestie, or whatever, your your coworker who always supports you on a daily basis at work, and like you guys are just so close. like, if that's gonna be your person long term, you guys need to be pouring into each other, not just, like, taking from one another. So, make sure that you are reciprocating the energy, the effort that the other person is putting in, and not just using them as a stepping stone to get to where you wanna be. Like, if you get ahead, bring them up, and hopefully, as they're getting ahead, they're bringing you up too. So, that's number 7, collaborate with others. Number 8 is to follow up with people. I'm gonna make a separate episode all about pitching. Maybe that'll be the next like strategic episode that I do. But when you're pitching yourself for an opportunity, let's say I send an email to a brand because I want a paid brand collaboration, and I don't hear back from them like 4 or 5 days later. Most people just let it go. Even myself in the past, I typically would just send an email or send a pitch, and if I didn't hear back, I'd be like, "Oh, well." But no, a lot of times people don't respond not because they're ignoring you or they don't want to consider you for that opportunity that you're pitching yourself for. A lot of times it's because people are busy and they miss the email. So always follow up with people when you're pitching yourself. But even when you go to a networking event or you meet someone new at a cafe or a conference or whatever, follow up with them. Like, we're all so busy. We all have things consuming our mind space, and we're not always remembering the connections that we make when we're out and about. So, following up with people is such an important part of maintaining a connection that you've made and building that relationship and potentially building a collaboration with someone. Remember that, like, a lot of times people aren't ignoring you. It's not personal if, your friend doesn't text you back or that brand doesn't email you back or the person you met at the conference doesn't, DM you on Instagram like they said they would. Sometimes you have to take the initiative and follow up with them because we're all busy. And if it's on your mind, take the action. It's so much simpler to just follow up and get it out of the way. And then you'll know if they are actually ignoring you. Or if it's just that they were busy and they forgot. 9 times out of 10, they're busy and they forgot, and they're gonna be so glad that you followed up with them, and they're gonna, email or text you right back. So, make sure that you are following up because most people miss a lot of opportunities by not taking that extra step and just saying, "Hey, still here, still interested," especially when it comes to like building your career, growing your business. Especially like if you're a coach or a service provider and you have potential clients that you're communicating with. In the past, I would take it so personally if I was like in a conversation with someone or negotiations and they just like stop responding. But a lot of times, again, it's just that they're busy. So sending another little like, "Hey, just wanted to bump this up. Just wanted to remind you I'm here. Still waiting." It can go a long way and it can actually help you get that opportunity through the finish line. You know what I mean? So you're not annoying. It's not cringe to follow up with people. It's cool to show that you care. It's cool to show that you're interested in something. So show that you are interested by following up. Number 9 and number 10, we're gonna go a little bit more energetic with it because I think that like mindset and energy is part of the luck equation, the opportunities equation. Because, like I said earlier, it's kind of like math taking more shots and magnetism being a magnetic person to those opportunities and to the universe to show that, like, yeah, I am lucky. I feel lucky. I think that goes a long way as well. So, number 9 is to have more audacity. Audacity is actually my word for 2026, because I feel like, I don't know, I could just have a little bit more oomph, you know? I feel like I'm already a pretty audacious person, but I definitely wait around a little too much, kind of like I was saying at the beginning, and so I just wanna have a little bit more audacity in all areas of my life. Like, I wanna flirt with life a little more. Um, Again, like, shoot my shot, take the risks, especially before I even feel ready. I think that's something that we can all work on is, like, doing things before we actually feel ready to, and honestly, ready isn't even a feeling, ready is a choice. You know that saying, "If you wait until you feel ready, you'll be waiting the rest of your life." I think that's so true. And so if we all could just have a little bit more audacity and put ourselves out there and not take things so personally. Like, I think a lot of us need rejection therapy. That's a big thing I've seen on social media in the past few weeks is there's this girl who tried to get rejected like 1,000 times or something in 2025, and she actually ended up getting accepted for things more than she was rejected. So it's because of her audacity and her willingness to put herself in a position to be told no, to get rejected, that she actually attracted more opportunities and more luck. So I think that we just need to be a little bit more audacious and stop being so afraid to be rejected, because I feel like getting rejected is just data. It doesn't have to be dramatic, it doesn't have to be personal. It's just kind of like failure, it's just feedback. So I think that for number 9, I just want to tell you to embrace the discomfort of taking risks, and I want you to take one bold, audacious action every single day. That could be flirting with the cute guy that you like at the cafe. That could be sending the email to someone for an opportunity that you really want, but that you were scared to put yourself out there for. Like, find small ways to just have a little bit more audacity every single day, and you will be 10 times luckier by the end of this year. And last but not least, number 10, don't chase, attract. And if you're not woo woo, that's okay. I feel like you can still listen to this one and apply some of the things. And so there's this analogy of catching butterflies. You can be the person who goes out with a net to try and catch the butterflies and hunt them down, or you can be the person who builds a garden and all the butterflies just want to come and hang out in the garden all the time. So I think obviously most of us want to be the gardener. We want to create a garden full of beautiful flowers that naturally attracts the butterflies to us. And so I think that idea kind of goes hand in hand with everything that we've already talked about thus far. It's, building your personal brand, getting visible, it's shooting your shot, it's working on your mindset and your energy to be that magnetic person when you walk in the room and introducing yourself and speaking to people and not being the fly on the wall. It's kind of all of those elements that we've talked about today put together. And I also think there are some other things that you can work on, like charisma. I think charisma is one of the most magnetic things that really naturally attracts opportunities and people in your orbit. And charisma isn't necessarily something that you either have or you don't. It's something that can be developed. Charisma is something that this woman Vanessa Van Edwards talks a lot about. I'll link a podcast episode in the show notes for you to go listen to learn about how to be more charismatic and build charisma. But basically it's just people who have high warmth and high competence. So someone who is warm, friendly, sociable, but who also is very smart, very good at their job. They know what they're talking about, they're good at what they do, and they're not afraid to show that. So, having more warmth and competence when you go to places and being more charismatic, that's one huge way to attract more opportunities to you. I also think nervous system regulation is a huge piece that people don't really consider as a method or strategy for increasing luck and attracting opportunities, but people can feel when you are frantic, anxious, when you're ungrounded. And so if you can regulate your nervous system, ground your energy, like be confident in who you are and be calm and just know and trust that the opportunities that you want are coming to you one way or another, one day or another. I think that is very magnetic, and that's what also allows opportunities to come to you a little bit more quickly, because when you're in that frantic chasing energy, the opportunities that you want are actually moving further away from you. But when you're calm and grounded and you know that you're exactly where you're meant to be and the opportunities that are meant for you will come to you, that's what makes things actually come closer and chase you. So regulate your fucking nervous system. And again, I have episodes about that as well. Not going to dive into how to do that today, but yeah, go learn how to do it. I also think that walking into rooms like you know you're meant to be there is such a power move, and it definitely will help you attract more opportunities, because you don't want to walk into a room and feel like an imposter, like you don't belong there. People can feel that energy when you go into spaces like that. So, if you get invited to something, if you are in a space, it's because you are meant to be there, you deserve to be there. So, own it. Own your energy, own your expertise, own your unique gifts and skills and talents. And again, scream your dream. Let people know who you are, what you want, why you deserve it, because they won't know unless you tell them. Next is to be a go giver. Still in Don't Chase Attract, but I think that like people who give more than they expect to take are the ones who actually end up taking more. You know what I mean? Like when someone is just giving and giving and giving, naturally they will get in return. And it's like that law of reciprocity. Like give, get. It's like this ebb and flow of like giving and receiving. And so don't be someone who just like holds so tightly to things, to your knowledge and gifts and expertise. Like give it. And in return, you will get the abundance that you want. And kind of going off of that, make sure that you are pouring into yourself before you pour into others, into anything else, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. And you want to make sure that when you are giving so much, you want it to be from the overflow. You don't want it to be from like scarcity or fear. You want to make sure that you are giving from what runneth over out of your cup so that people are receiving extra abundance and you're not depleting yourself or your energy in the process of giving to other people. And lastly, to not chase, attract, move like someone who has options. I think a lot of people are so stuck in scarcity. They think that if they don't get that job or if they don't get that brand deal or if they don't get that XYZ, they're never going to get anything else ever again. And like that energy, being in that scarce fear energy, is keeping you in scarcity because there's more than enough to go around. There's so much abundance. There's an endless number of opportunities available to you in the world. And I just think that if you can shift your energy from scarcity to abundance and just like walking through life like you have endless options, you will attract so much more luck, so much more opportunities because you're not so hyper fixated on one specific outcome or one specific thing. You're open and available to unexpected blessings and opportunities. And that's the most magnetic way to move through life. So, with that being said, those are the 10 ways to increase your luck and attract more opportunities this year. This was a lot of information. I don't think you have to do all of these things at once. But I think that if you can just focus on the first couple, like building your personal brand, getting visible, scream your dream, like those three, along with like number 10, don't chase, attract, and really focusing on your mindset and your energy, that will put you light years ahead than if you were to continue trying to chase things. And if you just were doing the same things that you were doing in 2025. Like I realized yesterday that is we're only 11 days into the year, but I kept repeating the same things that I was doing last year and I was like, okay, autumn, it's 2026. We said this year is going to be different, so it's got to be different. And so with that, I say to you, nothing changes if nothing changes. I hope this is the year that you really lock in and decide that this is your year. Like make the decision. Don't let it be an option. Make the decision, decide that 2026 is going to be your fucking year. And I hope that it will be. I know that it will be because you already decided. So, yeah, those are the tips. I hope that you guys have an amazing 2026. Thank you so much for listening to the episode. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram. Everything will be in the show notes, all of the bonus episodes that I mentioned. All of the ways you can connect with me, work with me, all the things are down below. With that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next episode.